done.
We freed the timeline. We found him. Beyond the storm. A citadel at the end of time. He's terrifying. He planned everything. He's seen everything. He knows everything. It's complicated, okay? But someone is coming. Countless different versions of a very dangerous person, and they're all set on war. We need to prepare.
Take it easy. You're an analyst, right? What division are you from?
What are you talking about?
Who are you? What's your name?
Boots on the ground now, archives.
Who are you?
Hope. And give you more time. If you help me. So, what's it gonna be? Antman.
In today's video, it's Marvel based. We're talking about how Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania pretty much sets up the future of everything when it involves multiple variances of Kang coming. And this was all set up in Loki season 1. The ending of Loki season 1 was so important. I know phase 4 was kind of disappointing, but phase 5 is really going to be cool. So in this video, we're going to go over some plot leaks for Ant-Man, also some plot stuff for Loki season 2, and how it will all fit together to make Kang the Conqueror, who will be the main villain of Ant-Man 3. But there's going to be multiple Kangs in that. We've already seen multiple Kangs in the trailers for Ant-Man 3. There is some misdirection going on there. So it's a theory video stroke going over plot leaks and how it's all going to fit together for a multiversal war, which was also set up with Doctor Strange 2, Clear, aka related to Dormammu, coming at the end of Doctor Strange 2 into the Multiverse of Madness with the incursions. It's multiversal war. This is all building up to something. This is easily going to be a better phase than phase 4. And Kang is so much scarier than Thanos. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Wish you here. If you are new around, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, pop culture-based content that we do on a daily basis. If you could, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on. That'd be much appreciated. Also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And also, if you could, check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. Right, let's get into this video. So, before we get into this, there were a few clips I played at the start of the video that set up everything. So I showed you the end of Loki season 1 when it appears that our Loki was back at a different TVA going, yo, Kang is coming. No one knows what's going to happen. But let's just go over one thing for a minute. So he who remained said this: not every version of me was so pure of heart. To some of us, new worlds only meant one thing: new lands to conquer. The peace between realities erupted into an all-out war, each variant fighting to preserve their universe and annihilate the others. If you think I'm evil, wait until you meet my variant. So what John Majors was saying, he was essentially saying, yo, you haven't met the bad people yet, which I find fascinating because this Kang stuff is going to go so deep. And I honestly think Kang could be one of the best Marvel villains we've ever had if execution is good. So there is a massive plot leak going around for Ant-Man 3, and it's pretty much been confirmed that it's somewhat true. There is also a plot leak, well, not a plot leak, a trailer plot leak, kind of, because it's, you know, it's from a trailer, so it's relevant. So we're going to briefly go over what allegedly happens in the Loki season 2 trailer. So this is what it says. So Loki voiceover tells the audience, this is going to sound strange, but I'm being pulled through time and I've seen the terror of all things. Now, there is a trailer online, but obviously it's leaked, so it's not, the quality is very bad. So the clip moves to a scene featuring Loki and Morbius, played by Owen Wilson, where the former is taking a sledgehammer inside the TVA. Loki smashes a wall to reveal a portrait of Kang, the multiversal villain. There is nothing that stands between this world and utter destruction, Loki says in the clip, warning that war is on its way. So we don't know when Loki season 2 actually comes out, but it's going to be so pinnacle to understanding more of Kang's variants. As we know, there's Nathaniel, there's so many different variants of Kang. Like, I'm not a comic book guy, so I'm not going to go over a bunch of variances of Kang, but there will be, and they've already been evident in multiple trailers for Ant-Man 3, that there's actually at least 2 variances of Kang in that movie alone. Now, what is interesting is, as we know, Kang the Conqueror is a space-time continuum villain. He can go back, forward, sideways. He can literally move wherever he wants. But as we know, the quantum realm is a very special realm. It's a very special place. It works outside the usual space time continuum timeline. So if Kang is in the quantum realm and we know he's stuck in there, the other Kangs can't actually identify him or can't see anything inside the quantum realm because it's not happening in the main MCU timeline, so to speak, to dumb it down. So it is interesting how Kang thinks he knows everything, but does he know everything? And what actual versions of Kang are in there? So we do have multiple voiceovers from Kang. There's one Kang inside the quantum realm that goes, I can give you more time. I can help you. I know what's coming. I am the only one that can help you. When Kang claims to be the only one who can stop what's coming, when Scott Lang asks, who is coming? He's like, me, because obviously there's multiple variances of Kang. So it is interesting. And then there's other versions of Kang. He's like, Kang asks, if he's the one with the hammer, Scott makes a joke about people confusing them all the time. Kang tells Scott, he's beaten the Avengers several times. So there's multiple Kangs. Obviously, Kangs go back and forward, hence why he says they've beat the Avengers multiple times. So there is some misdirection. There is some mislead going on in multiple trailers for this movie. And I don't think people are ready for what's going on because, as we know, Kang is stuck in the quantum realm, allegedly. And it would make sense. But did he know? He must have known because obviously, based on the trailer, Cassie Lang is messing around with some quantum realm technology and they all get pulled in there. Pulled in there for a specific reason. Because the Kang the Conqueror, who is going to be the main villain of the MCU for the next 5 years, damn, that's going to be so good. He needs their help. And everyone just presumed it was for the 10 rings and also Miss Marvel's bangles. I don't know if that's been dispelled or anything like that. But I do think them characters could be important to Avengers 5. As we know, we did a video on the leak of the alleged team for the next, obviously, Avengers movie, which would be Kang Dynasty. And it does make sense. You know, most of the new characters that have been introduced for a reason. They've not all of a sudden got a major new job and had like TV shows and TV shows for no reason. So it is very interesting. So there is many layers to understand of the next phase of Marvel. And it will get so much better. So I think it's only worth saying that we should go over the plot leak because then you'd understand what is going on. So let's go over it. Janet will be running from the quantum realm when she meets Kang. There's a montage of Scott narrating his life via an expert from his book, Looking Out for the Little Guy. Scott talks about how happy he was to meet a raccoon that could talk. Says his friend with a Hulk. Talking about future adventures, Scott says that for the moment, he's just focused on being a dad. Scott and Cassie reconnect as a big part of the movie. Scott, Cassie, Hope, Hank, and Janet are separated into 2 groups after getting sucked into the quantum realm. Now, this kind of stuff you see in the trailer, but this information came out before the trailer. So this plot leak is legitly real. And I've also asked some other people I know behind the scenes, and they've somewhat said, yeah, it is mostly true. Scott tries to calm Cassie down by saying, being in the quantum realm is just like going camping. Is it really? Interesting. So sucked into the quantum realm by Cassie's device, she is going to be very important to the future of the franchise of Marvel. We see a whole living world in the quantum realm. We see Hank and Janet surfing giant flying stingray. There's a quantum realm bar with a Bugman bartender. Bill Murray's is in the quantum realm, who's hinted to have a fling with Janet while she was stuck. Some buildings will appear to be alive in the quantum realm. Modok's described as a mechanism organism designed only for killing. He's a big Corey Stoolhead. Now, the Funko Pop image has been released and some people will be like, yo, this is the first look at Modok. Realistically, it's just a Funko Pop. It's not that deep. It's really not. We get to know Kang's backstory and this will be pinnacle for the future of everything because Kang is pinnacle to Avengers 5, Avengers 6, and a variant of Kang is somewhat going to be pinnacle. I don't think he's going to be the villain for Loki Season 2 because Deadline just came out with an exclusive for that. But that's interesting and we're going to get a backstory. Janet and Kang were both trapped in the quantum realm together in the past. He has a ship that can travel the multiverse. Now, this is important because this is where the theory comes in. And I'm not going to make out I made this theory up. I didn't, but most people thought it because if you watch the most recent trailer, you see it does look like the 10 rings and it does look like the bangle that Miss Marvel has. So if Kang the Conqueror is actually stuck in the quantum realm, his time-traveling machine, let's call it, because we don't know what they're going to call it in Marvel, do we? Because Marvel don't directly copy stuff. So if the bangle and the 10 rings are there and Kang can go in and out of the quantum realm, it would make sense because the other Kangs cannot detect or know what another version that Kang is doing whilst he's in the quantum realm. So Kang, if he gets to escape the quantum realm, can go in and out, kill the other Kangs, come back in, and be doing his own little thing, and no one else on the timeline can sense it. So let's digress. So they have a past together. He has a ship that can travel the multiverse. It's called the Multiversal Saga. Janet and he were fixing it. He wanted to help her fix time so she could get back to Hope. Janet discovered that he was evil via a neutral connection he has with his ship. After confronting him and confirming his nature, she destroyed the equipment that meant his ship worked and trapped them both deeper in the quantum realm. Kang has been the Conqueror ever since. He's been looking for Janet for revenge. Kang tells Scott he's beaten the Avengers several times. So is this saying Kang the Conqueror has beaten the Avengers several times? But if his ship was broke, he could no longer do that. He's stuck there. As we know, Kang can go back, forwards, can literally make time up. Obviously not in the quantum realm. Outside of the quantum realm, Kang asks him if he's the one with a hammer. And Scott makes a joke about people confusing them all the time with Thor. He wants Scott to help him get out of the quantum realm and says they should work together. Kang claims to be the only one who can help him stop what is coming. When Scott asks what this is, Kang simply says, me. So, from the most recent trailers, there is a bit of misdirection going on. It seems like there is a version of the Kang that's the Don, that's the top G of the quantum realm. And it seems like there's another Kang in there who can help him get more time back. But they've got to overslay, they've got to decimate, they've got to dominate the top G, the top Kang. So it's interesting how all this is going to fit together. He's not blue, but he has the lines on his face. So we know the main Kang will be the one that's suited up and also have the scars on his face, because they're not going to do that to every single variant of Kang. They need to make him look slightly different. Scott gets into a quantum nexus where he meets several different versions of himself. This can be backed by the trailer, but this information came out before the trailer. There is a Scott who just is a Basket Robin employee in his universe and doesn't understand what's going on. Interesting. And if you notice on one of the trailers, it says Scott Lang, employee of the century. Interesting. Scott works with his multiversal self against Modok. So it seems like they're trying to tee off that Modok is a villain, but also Kang is a villain, but also there could be a good Kang in there. Scott has an emotional moment with Cassie saying he messed up a lot of his life, but she was the only thing he never did. In the sense of not messing up anything to do with her, just to clarify. That's what I presume it's getting at. Or at least that's the way I presume that it's written. He promises Cassie he'll get her home. Corey Still's doing the voiceover for Modok. There is a running joke about everyone calling Modok Darren, and he hates it. Janet calls Kang by his name, Nathaniel. That's very telling. Kang tells Janet that she gave him a lot of time to plot his revenge by leaving him stranded in the quantum realm. He tells her that when he leaves first, the universe, he claims, will be hers. So that is Earth 616. That is Prime Earth. Kang the Conqueror wants to destroy the whole of Earth. Now that will probably just be the Avengers 5 storyline, that Kang gets out the quantum realm at the end of this movie and he wants to take out the whole Earth where all the Avengers are. So that sets up a pretty pinnacle plot point. Kang reveals he's built an empire and says he'd take it with him to conquer all the universes. Scott gets a black suit. Hope has some kind of lightsaber. Both black suits have red and yellow accent, respectively. The final battle is huge and reminds me of the final battle from Aquaman with all its moving pieces. We see Giant Cassie fighting Modok. She tries to talk him into switching sides. Giant Scott and Giant Cassie run in to each other for a big hug. He jokes about it feeling like he's hugging Godzilla. Kang has a standoff with Scott, Hope, and Cassie. Hank flies in with a legion of battle-armored ants, and they attack Kang. He manages to hold them off with his powers. Modok also shows up to help. Kang is fatally injures Modok. The family goes to Modok's side as he dies. He rubs his tiny hand on Scott's cheek. There is an emotional moment where Modok says to Cassie, was right about him, and that he at least died an Avenger. Scott says he did a good job and agrees. There's kind of like a plot point here where Kang basically sets him up to think they've beat him, and then he does a reverse whammy and he beats them. Kang survives a fight, stops Scott just as they're all going back to the universe. Janet, Hank, Cassie, and Hope escape. Kang beats the living hell out of Scott. Hope comes back for him. They almost manage to trap Kang in the quantum realm, but he escapes and traps Scott and Hope inside. Hank guarantees Janet and Cassie they're fine away back to them. At the end of the movie, Hope and Scott look at the quantum realm. Hope says to Scott that their family will be okay and they just have to trust them to find the Geo. She says Cassie will know what to do. The next scene, sometime later, Cassie's running all kinds of programs on a different computer. She's staring at the screens. She sees something. Her eyes go wide and she gasps, cut to black. Now, we've somewhat seen this in the trailer where there's a scene where she looks like she's running multiple quantum realm tests on a computer. And I presume whatever she sees has somewhat something to do with Kang the Conqueror. So I don't believe Ant-Man will be stuck in there long term. I believe by the time the Avengers 5 movie comes out, Kang Dynasty, he will be out because Janet is key to knowing how to defeat Kang because she was somewhat Kang's friend. She was stuck in there. She knows him better than anyone, and that's Kang the Conqueror. So she's friends, frenemies, keep my enemies closer, keep my friends further away. I don't know, something like that. But I do find it fascinating how all the information will be over. It really does tell a story of two halves. There are many Kangs, but there's an even eviler one. If you think I'm evil, wait until you meet my variant. And this is how a multiversal war will start because we're in the multiversal saga. So a multiversal war is going to start at the end of the movie because Kang's going to get out. Now, I don't believe we're going to see anything in the movie in the sense of a multiversal war, but at the end of Multiverse of Madness, Clea came from what looked like the Dark Dimension, the same kind of scenery that was used for Dormammu. And she's like, yo, Strange, you caused an incursion. We're going to go fix it. So the incursions will, in theory, in fact, cause multiversal wars between two universes to crash into each other and only one can win. So whatever's going to happen in Avengers 5 will have to be based around Kang causing some kind of incursion, potentially. Remember, guys, I'm not a massive comic book guy. I never have been, I've never claimed to be, but this is huge. Ant-Man 3 and Loki Season 2 is game-changing because everything was set up from Loki Season 1. Not every version of me was so pure of heart. To some of us, new worlds only meant one thing, new lands to be conquered. So Kang gets out, he's pissed off at Janet. And first thing he wants to do is conquer where she is from, which ironically happens to be the place where everyone else is from. The peace between realities erupt into all-out war, each variant fighting to preserve their respective universe and annihilate others. If you think I'm evil, wait till you meet my variant. It's interesting how John Majors said in Loki, my variant, not my variants. I don't think there's going to be like 10 different Kangs. I think maybe they'll get like 2, 3, 4. I don't think we're going to get like multiple variants of Kang or like crazy levels of Kang because that means Kang would have to show up in a lot of different movies and I can't see that happening. I can't see him randomly popping up in Captain Marvel or randomly popping up in Captain America 4 New World Order or anything like that. But going forward on the channel, we're going to cover a lot more Marvel content alongside everything else. And we're basically going to start covering everything. So let me know what you think. There is so much to unpack on the most recent trailer. Because there's almost misdirect in the most recent trailer based on what Kang says about reality and you don't know how. I don't think the Kang in the quantum realm can actually see what Ant-Man's future, past, present is because he's in the quantum realm. And I think when he's not in the normal space-time continuum, time and reality all works differently in the quantum realm. So I think somewhat Kang is misleading Scott Lang, but Scott Lang would not know that because he doesn't know who he is. So it's interesting. But don't worry, I'm pretty sure Ant-Man isn't going to die. Although there is that picture going around when his face gets smashed up. Yep, because he has to dominate him. He has to show him he's the top Kang. So like always, guys, let me know, what do you think of this style of video? If you've made it this far, thank you very much. Like always, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter. WarstuG, and I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.